Guys, really, I have lipstick in the corners of my mouth. It's gonna be a hot mess express this week, guys. Hey everybody, welcome back. And today we are gonna be starting off my week-long, I know we just got out of one series and we're gonna do another, but I wanna split up my beauty favorites for 2016 into 5 different videos. I got a lot of products to cover. I know I've just put out a couple of very long videos, and I figured this way you can kind of pick and choose what you want to see. So, because we all know that I can talk for days. So yeah, I'm going to be doing kind of primers, foundations, concealers, powders. Then I'm going to be doing eye products, so eyeliners, mascaras, bases, eyeshadow palettes. And I'm going to be doing highlighters, contours, bronzers, blushes. I'm going to be doing lips and brows, and then I'm going to be doing like lashes and brushes. So that way it just spread out. I'm going to try and go through this as quickly as possible. I do want to, just tell everybody to start off with that I have so many things to talk about because I use different products every single day. And these are the ones that I'm really gravitating towards or have gravitated towards and have used multiple times over and over again. Guys, I have a lot of makeup. That's because I love trying new things and trying out new things. So if I go back to something multiple times or it really sticks out in my mind as I'm looking through my collection, that really speaks volumes to me because I have so much. And I'm not really a person that keeps an everyday makeup drawer because I like to go to my collection and utilize different things all the time. Now, I could have talked about so many more products, but I really wanted to tell you about things that really just immediately when I looked at them, I was like, yes, I love that product. I can rely on it. It's a go-to for me. So if the amount of products that I'm talking about seem crazy, I apologize. Again, I'm talking about my makeup perspective, guys. I use different things every single day. I never have an everyday makeup drawer. I mean, I did during the 31 days of tutorials, but that's just because it was easier for the things that I knew I was going to go to and the things that I'd already been using consistently throughout the year. So without further ado, let's jump into it. All right, guys, first off, let's talk about a couple of sprays. Now, there are 2 that I have been using like crazy this year. I have loved the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Setting Spray. This one is $5. This is my second bottle, and it's actually almost empty. And then I also love the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. This one is $32, and this one I'm getting down to the very bare minimum of, bare bottom of. Now, I love both of these, and I've said this before. I have dry skin, so setting sprays for me are not necessarily about making my makeup last because my skin does not eat makeup like I know people with oily texture on their skin, where it can just eat away the makeup. Usually makeup's gonna last on my face pretty much all day long without a whole bunch of help, especially if I moisturize correctly and, and put on a nice primer. I don't have a problem. So setting sprays are not an essential for me, but what these do for me is that they really just kind of help take the powderiness away and the cakiness away from my makeup, which because I'm so dry is very, very easy to overdo it as far as powder and foundation, especially when I'm going for something more full coverage. So for that, I love both of these. I love the sprays on both of these. They're nice. They feel refreshing. I don't feel like they make my skin greasy. It doesn't overdo it. It's just a nice little setting spray to really kind of just add a nice final sheen to my face. Now, as far as repurchasing, will I repurchase this one? Absolutely. I really, really enjoy it. I think the price point is fantastic. As far as the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water, will I repurchase this one? If I repurchase this one, I probably will eventually, but right now I'm really liking the new Milani Make It Last setting spray that's coming out. I find that they're very comparable in smell and the way I feel like they smell the same in the way they perform and just what they do for me throughout the day and within the application of my makeup. So I do really enjoy this one. I don't think it's essential, especially because I like the Milani one and it's a lot cheaper, but it is an amazing product. You guys have seen me use it a ton of times. I used it today to set my makeup, and I think it is just a phenomenal product. So those are my setting sprays. Now let's talk about primers. Now there are 4 that I have really been enjoying, and I've really found myself, again, I rotate things out all the time, but there are 4 that I keep finding myself going back to. And the first one I kind of is a skincare product that I find works very well as a primer, and it also works well in conjunction with my other skincare, with my moisturizer, and also just by in conjunction with other primers. And that is the L'Oreal Youth Code Texture Perfector Pore Vanisher. This is about 20 bucks. It says you smooth this over your entire face, AM and PM. You can use alone or as a last step in your skincare routine. So this is actually skincare, but I don't know how this does what it does. This is my second bottle of this, but you put this on your face and I feel like the pores just absolutely like disappear. I don't know how it does what it does, but it really does help to just smooth over your pores or fill them in to the point where it just creates a very, very smooth base for your foundation. I absolutely love it. I love using this when I use a more lotiony type primer. I wouldn't necessarily use this with more silicone based primer because I feel like that would be kind of overkill and it'd be hard for your makeup to kind of actually meld into your face. But this is a fantastic skincare slash primer product that I absolutely have just been over the moon for this year. The next product I want to talk about is the Too Faced Proactive Nourishing Hangover RX Replenishing Face Primer. This is silicone free. Now I got this in the sample size because I didn't know if I was going to like it. It's a very, very moisturizing primer. It smells really good. It smells like coconut. Now, I would say if you're somebody who has oily skin or combo skin or normal skin, this would be something that I wouldn't necessarily recommend. But if you have very, very dry skin like I do, I really, really enjoy this primer. I think it's very nourishing. It's very moisturizing. It just soaks up into my skin so well that when I'm preparing, you know, to put on my foundation, I feel like this helps contribute to just having a really nice moisturized base to work with, because we all know if you've got dry skin and you're trying to put foundation on, it's gonna look awful. You have to prepare your skin, and that's just part of, it's like having super oily skin. If you're on either end of the spectrum, you have to take those steps to really prepare your skin so that your foundation looks decent and nice and pretty throughout the day. And again, guys, when I put this on, I don't know what it is, but I feel like I can feel my face tightening and firming up. I don't know what it is about this. Maybe that's just in my head, but I absolutely love this primer. I will be repurchasing a full size once I run out of this sample. And a little goes a very long way because I've had this for a while, but there was about a month and a half there where I could not put this down. Another foundation that another primer that I have absolutely just gone banana sandwich over is the Stila One Step Corrector Skin Tone Correcting Brightening Serum. I love this stuff. You can see I've used a whole crap ton of it. This was like my go-to primer at the first part of the year, before I started branching out and trying other things, and it is amazing. You've got a peachy tone in there, a white, like lavender tone, and a green tone. So it's really good if you have redness, if you're having any kind of discoloration on your face, which again, I tend to get sometimes. So I was experiencing that a lot during the summer and the first part of the year. And I feel like my skin's kind of evened out a bunch right now. Now, is this something, again, that I would repurchase? Absolutely. I think once I run out of this, I will repurchase it because it's just so great for those days when your skin's just not cooperating. There's some days when you wake up and your skin feels radiant and beautiful and even, and there's some days when you wake up and you're like, what the hell is going on? This is such a good primer for that. I know I'm talking about high-end primers or higher-end primers, guys, but I've really kind of branched out to try those, and I've got to say it has really, really made a difference in my foundation routine, which is why I'm telling you about them, and I truly enjoy this one as well. And then the last primer I want to talk about is also a sample size that I got, and this is the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer, oil-free. I love this stuff. I love this in combination with certain foundations. I'm wearing it today. I think it is such a great little primer. Again, is this something that a little goes a long way, guys. I've had this for 2.5 months, I believe, or 3 months. I've had this for almost 3 months, and I have used this pretty much every day. This has pretty much been my go-to primer, and I still have about half in there. So a little goes a long way. So, and it just creates such, again, like with the L'Oreal Youth Code, I don't use those in conjunction because, again, I think they do the same thing. This is just one of those great primers that just smooths everything out. It fills in your pores to help just create a very smooth, beautiful base to lay down your foundation with. And I like this especially with kind of lighter consistency foundations, more watery consistency foundations. I'm actually wearing it with my NARS All Day Weightless Luminous Foundation today, and I find that those two together are the perfect combination. All right, guys, speaking of foundations, let's talk about the NARS. So this is the first NARS product I've ever purchased. I absolutely love it. I know this kind of was very polarizing when it first came out. I believe it was last year. I'm in the shade Mont Blanc, which is light 2. I love it. I'm wearing it today. It is a very, very light, watery consistency. And I've talked about it before, but it's one of those foundations that just manages to be light and beautiful and look like a second skin, and it evens out your skin tone, and it gives you like a naturally, I feel like, flawless type of finish. My skin is by no means flawless. It's actually, my makeup has just been fighting me all day, but I love it. It feels comfortable. It doesn't feel tacky. It doesn't feel like it is gonna rub off on the skin. It's not too heavy. I feel like my skin can breathe. And now I am a dry skin girl, and I knew that going into this, that a lot of people talked about how this picked up on all of your dry patches, and I will say it absolutely does that. If you are dry skinned and you do not prepare your skin, or don't want to take the time to really prepare your skin for this foundation, it's going to look cakey. It's going to grab onto those dry spots. It's not going to look flattering. But I think that the overall effect of this foundation is so absolutely worth it that I'm willing to take the time to really, really moisturize my skin, give it some time to set and prepare in preparation for the application. So on days when I know I'm going to wear this foundation, I will do my daily moisturizer. I will throw in my Tarte Maracuja oil, and then I will again pair this with the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer, and I just find like it gives the most beautiful effect. I really, really love it. I think it's gorgeous and definitely one of my favorites this year. Obviously it's in this video. Everything's gonna be a favorite. Sorry guys. Another product that I was like super hardcore for, especially the beginning of the year, I actually ran out of this foundation, guys. I cannot tell you how rare it is for me to go through an entire foundation, but I just repurchased it. I'm one of those people where I have so many foundations that even if I really like something, I want to try out more products to see what really works. But this one I definitely had to come back to and repurchase, and this is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Cushion Buildable Luminous Foundation. I am in the shade N2. Now, again, I know people either really love this or hated this. I know that for a lot of people, the price point was a big concern because you're getting 0.51 ounces in here, which is about half of what you would normally get in a drugstore foundation, which is usually 1 fluid ounce. I really enjoy this. I think it's a beautiful light, I would say it's a light bordering on medium coverage that can be built up to a solid medium coverage. Again, it's one of those foundations that's just really light and beautiful and natural looking on the skin. It gives you a beautiful radiance, and I always really enjoy my skin when I wear this foundation. So again, I have repurchased this. It's one of those light, it's kind of like the NARS ones. Apparently it's been the year of the light kind of liquidy foundation. And I just like the idea of it in a compact. It's so convenient. It's one of those things I can throw in my bag if I'm running late, which for me, I think it's worth paying a little bit of extra money for a little bit less product, just for the convenience factor. And that might not be the case for everybody, completely understand, but for me it is. I love this foundation. I think it's fantastic. Guys, the sun's coming out. It's been snowing all day. You see how pretty it is back there? See, let me zoom in. That's the view out of my window. How pretty is that? I love my backyard. All right, I've got 4 more foundations to talk about, which I know seems a little excessive, but I want to talk about them in combination. And these are 2 combinations that I have just been loving this month. I mean, this year. I don't know what it is, but these combinations seem to work as far as the tone of the foundation, the finish, the way it wears. I just love it. And the first one combination is the Maybelline Superstay Better Skin Transforming Foundation in the shade Porcelain. And I love to mix this with the Maybelline New York Dream Liquid Mousse Airbrush Finish, and this is in the shade Natural Light Ivory. This foundation and these, I love the original Superstay. This one I feel is just gorgeous. It gives a gorgeous demi-matte finish. It wears all day long, but I feel like combining it with this airbrush finish just gives it a little bit more of a velvety, beautiful, soft texture to the skin that I just absolutely adore. And I will say that I found that these foundations, I have this in a couple of shades, but I prefer the ivory, right? Porcelain, I prefer Porcelain. Has a little bit more of a yellow undertone, and I feel like the Maybelline Dream Liquid Mousse these have more of a pinky undertone. So when I combine these together, they are just phenomenal. I love them. I love them for my skin. It is going to be a full coverage, but not super like crazy matte full coverage. It's going to give you like a soft kind of velvety airbrush type of finish. And I love these together. Guys, I got to do it. My hair's got to go up. It's bothering me. I'm playing with it. I'm sorry. That'll work. All right, and then the next combination I want to talk about is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte 24-Hour Foundation. So this is the original one that came out in the shade 102 Shell Beige, and the Maybelline Dream Velvet Soft Matte Hydrating Foundation in the shade Warm Porcelain. Again, I have this one in a couple of shades, and this one is just the one I prefer. If you want a super full-on matte coverage that is absolutely flawless, these two together are so amazing. And I feel like these are so, I feel like on their own I cannot wear these together. I don't know why. It just doesn't work, but for something about the combination just seems to really work with me. And I'm not going to say this is, and I'm not saying this is going to work for everybody. I'm just saying when it comes to foundations, get a little creative. And if there's something, if there are a couple that are not working for you, play around, try some combinations, because I love this. I have been wearing this combination in a bunch of my recent videos, and I just think it is fantastic. All right, guys, let's move on to some concealers. I actually only have 3. The first one is the Maybelline Superstay Better Skin with concealer, and this is in the shade Ivory. So again, I love this. It is super easy, super blendable, super full coverage. And then I love to combine this with the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in Fair. Again, I have both of these in a couple of different shades because I like to use them for different things, and I also like to use them in my kit. These two together are going to give a beautiful, flawless, seamless foundation. I feel like, again, I have dry skin. I don't feel like they dry me out. I feel like they just give a beautiful finish underneath the eye. Both very, very affordable. I think when it comes to drugstore concealers, you cannot get better than Maybelline. There's so many that are so good. These just happen to have been my go-tos this year. And guys, I hate to be predictable, but I gotta give props where it's due. The Tarte Shape Tape. This is such a stellar concealer. I'm wearing it today. It is completely full coverage. It dries down. It doesn't really even need to be set. I know my eyes are looking a little crazy. That's because they're watering today, guys. But I love this. It is not drying. I mean, it's not drying. It's full coverage. It blends out beautifully. It doesn't need to be set. I mean, it's just like the perfect concealer. A little bit goes such a long way. There is a reason why this is so hyped up. I know this is not like certain products that are out there that everybody goes crazy over for no reason. This is good because it is just good. And when it comes to higher end concealers like the Urban Decay, the Too Faced Born This Way, which is also a great concealer, it just wasn't one of my favorites this year. This one is a little bit on the cheaper side. I believe it's $24, and it is just gonna last you forever. I have used this every day for like the past 3 or 4 months. I still have a bunch left, and it is just fantastic. I will definitely be repurchasing this product. If you have not tried it and you're on the fence about it and you want to try a nice higher end concealer, I would recommend this. I think this is going to be the one that is going to be most universally flattering on a different variety of skin tones, skin textures, ages. It's just amazing. It is one of the best products of the year. All right, guys, let's talk about some powders, and then we're going to be done with this video. And the first one I want to talk about is the Maybelline Fit Me Pressed Powder. I do have a backup of this. This is my first one I've been through. Yeah, guys, but again, it's like with foundations. I have so many powders that I like to switch it up every day. So if I have something that has this much paint on it, you know it's good. I am in the shade 110 Porcelain. I talk about it all the time. It is very, very comparable to the Urban Decay Mineralized Skin Finish Natural, because that is a powder that's very nice. It adds a lot of coverage, but it's there with the mica in the formula. It's light reflecting, and it gives a nice natural luminosity to the skin. I feel like this is so comparable. So if you don't want to drop the $30 on that powder, which I also highly recommend, and I'm about to be through my second one, then this one is absolutely an amazing drugstore option. It's about $6. So I've got a backup waiting because it's so good. Another powder that I absolutely love that I'm kind of sad because I think they might be discontinuing it is the Revlon Nearly Naked. Do you see how gross mine is? Like, major pan. This is one of the most luxurious powders you will find in the drugstore, hands down. It is phenomenal. It gives great coverage without getting too cakey. When I was using up the Physicians Formula foundation earlier in the year, the cushion foundation that I wasn't a big fan of at all, but I just wanted to use it because, again, it was just convenient and I would just throw it on just to give a little bit of coverage. That product was made bearable and tolerable to where I could finish up by this powder. This powder saved that foundation because it just, there's something in it, made it hold it together. It has such a beautiful, silky, airbrushed texture to the skin. This is an amazing product. I'm actually going to go out and try and buy a backup because I love this powder so much. I think this is one of those products that I would say if you don't have it, I would highly, highly recommend it because it is just an amazing, amazing drugstore powder. Another powder I want to talk about was in my favorites a couple months ago, and this is the Pure 4-in-1 Pressed Mineral Makeup. This has a broad spectrum SPF of 15 in it. This was a recommendation to me by one of the girls that worked at Ulta, and I was very skeptical of this powder because I have such dry skin. I have already put quite the dent in it. I love this powder. It's beautiful. It gives nice, natural coverage to the skin. It's not going to be like super full coverage. I mean, you can build it up, but I don't like to do that because I have dry skin. But if I put a nice moisturizer, a moisturizing primer down and throw a little bit of the Born This Way concealer underneath this and then throw this on, I'll use that Born This Way concealer because it's a little bit lighter, a little bit more natural of a finish on the skin than the Tarte Shape Tape, and then throw this on. It gives me such a beautiful put together face. It's not going to be super matte, super full glam. It's just a nice, evened out, polished look that I absolutely love. I think if you are dry skin and you're looking for a nice, just powder foundation to wear, because that is a conundrum in makeup products, guys, is to find a powder that us dry-skinned individuals can really get behind. This one for me absolutely is at the top of that list. I love it. I got the anniversary packaging too, which is stunning. So pretty. And then the last powder I want to talk about is also, I bought it when I bought the NARS foundation, and this is the NARS Translucent Crystal Light Reflecting Setting Powder Pressed. And I love this powder. As you can see, again, I'm very close to hitting pan on this. It's one of those products that when you don't feel like you're getting anything out of it, or you don't feel like it's picking up on your brush. But I love using this to set my under eye concealer. That's about all I use it for. Sometimes I will use it to set the whole face or set different parts of my face, where I have concealer. But I love this powder. I think it's beautiful. Like I said, if you feel like nothing's coming off on your brush, you feel like it's not, but then you look at the way the finished product looks and what your skin looks like after you put this over your concealer, and it just looks beautiful, flawless. It doesn't crease. Again, another one of those products that I think is extremely expensive, but extremely worth the money. This is a $50 powder, but I believe $40 powder. Really good. All right, guys, we made it through the video, and I only had lipstick in the corners of my mouth for like 98% of it. I think that's doing pretty good. But yeah, those are my favorite primers, setting sprays, foundations, concealers, and powders of the year. I hope this was helpful for you. I'm hoping this video is going to be under 25 minutes. But yeah, let me know what your favorites are down below. I love hearing your guys' opinion. I actually have a list of products in my phone that I need to try that are your suggestions, so I'm slowly getting to them. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you tomorrow with the next one. You guys have an amazing day. Love you so much. I'll talk to you later. Bye.